Good morning, Dominica's press team. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Let me introduce the board members with us today in our capacities within the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association. To my right, I have Ms. Renee Whitchurch Ed, Vice President. To my left, I have Mr. Gregor Nassif, President of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association. And to my farther left, I have Mr. Ashton Riviere, Board Director. I will begin with a brief summary on the statement that was recently released. I'll then invite you to ask our panel questions as it directly relates to this statement of direction and focus. As you are aware, the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association has already begun an in-depth restructuring plan, which will assist in redefining our purpose and better enable the association to represent and support current and future members with the joint support of the government and other stakeholders. And as such, work began immediately. Focus group meetings with the industry stakeholders have allowed the association to identify its weaknesses and strengths, as well as ratify key challenges facing the industry. The restructuring is well on its way, as is engagement with the government and other stakeholders regarding the issues of our industry that our industry needs to resolve. Despite the DHTA's historic challenge to maintain the necessary and consistent support of its members and impact Dominica's ability to create the most opportune environment in policy and practice for continued growth of the tourism sector, the industry has and continues to be the greatest economic GDP contributor for the island. As we know, this speaks volumes about the tourism industry's potential. If we do what needs to be done, this is the industry that will drive Dominica forward. Our industry's current reality is, and I quote from our statement, regionally, our island is the most difficult and most expensive to get to. Our marketing budget per visitor is one of the lowest in the region, and our businesses pay the highest energy rates and VAT rates. As well, our operations and employees are subjected to an atypical application of the VAT Act. And our current and future investors face the highest barriers to investment in the form of transfer taxes, alien land holding fees, and stamp duties. The DHTA fully supports the Discover Dominica's authorities' call for additional financial resources, as effective destination marketing is directly correlated to growth in visitor arrivals. As well, the DHTA has requested and in principle has been granted a seat on the DDA board as well as a seat on the DDA's Product and Marketing Subcommittee. The DHTA wishes to engage DDA on reviewing its branding and marketing strategies and working much more closely with our members as we need to be all in sync in our marketing strategies. Fuel price increases and worldwide economic and political vulnerability have created international trends in increased cost of airlift. However, the DDA's Air Access Committee has made significant strides in identifying and maximizing international airport hubs in our region and optimizing the limited yet crucial access points. We believe this is one of the reasons that visitor arrivals are beginning to show a slight increase over the past year. The arrival and departure experience for visitors traveling by air, cruise, and ferry needs to be significantly enhanced. We cannot afford a negative first and last impression. Transportation and taxi tariffs need to be standardized. The dispatching challenges on the bayfront and the problem of vagrancy needs to be resolved, as well as the ferry immigration and customs process requires significant improvement. The DHTA supports fully Dominica's drive to increase export-ready rooms and recognizes the impact of standards on improving the efficiency and safety of the industry. However, this must go hand in hand with policy and incentive programs that will enable improvement in very challenging economic times. The fiscal incentives regime needs to be modernized and implemented as soon as possible. This will also encourage growth in new forms of stay-over developments, such as mixed resorts, timeshares, villas, vacation homes, and the like. The DHTA calls on the Investment Dominica Authority and all relevant authorities to create the much-needed enabling environment with a modernized incentive program that will result in new investment and job creation. Regarding VAT, the DHTA sincerely appreciates the government's commitment to repeal VAT on service charge effective September 1st, 2014. This speaks to the government's commitment of our shared responsibility on improving the economic climate that will enable the tourism industry to grow. We are currently working in partnership with the government on improving how VAT is applied to the sector. We are seeking additional relief for the sector, particularly in the areas of staff meals and complimentary rooms and services, including a cessation of audits in all of the areas previously mentioned prior to September 1st, 2014. As mentioned, energy costs in Dominica are the highest in the region, with Dominic's major input in cost production being diesel. This is a direct paradox to the image that is being sold of Dominica, the nature isle of the Caribbean or the world. The DHTA is supporting and encouraging its members to embark on renewable energy sources, and discussions with the Aid Bank have opened opportunities on low-interest financing in this regard. With Dominicans being some of the friendliest and most welcoming people in the Caribbean, we need to recognize that there's insufficient focus on maximizing our people's potential and skill set, and this directly impacts the ability of our sector to compete on a global scale and to grow rapidly with the industry. A core focus of training needs to be customer service, as we need to identify the current opportunities in our service sectors and create and implement a nationally focused plan. Community outreach programs need to be revitalized, and the positive impact of tourism on individuals and communities needs to be recognized and nurtured. We are proud people, as we should be. Dominica is blessed with an abundance of natural resources, 365 rivers, black and white sand beaches, vibrant and healthy marine resources, and healthy and rich soil. However, pollution, litter, noise, crime, and poor environmental practices undermine our future as an environmentally sustainable and economically viable island. I am Dominica. This needs to be focused internally and at the forefront of our decisions in implementing a model environmental practices. Addressing crime quickly and efficiently, and educating our staff and communities on best practices regarding health, safety, litter, and noise pollution, and encouraging model corporate ethics and responsibility. The DHTA fully supports the government's plan to upgrade Roseau and is enthused by the opportunity to transform Roseau into a green capital, which sustains the product integrity and island brand. The Tourism Master Plan defines key indicators for the performance and growth in tourism in stayover arrivals and export-ready rooms. However, such targets can only be reached with determination and teamwork of all stakeholders. Thank you. We're now about to open up the floor to any questions that you may have regarding the statement of focus and direction.
Well, there's obviously solar. Sorry? Yeah, we have certain operations that have already started to use solar as a replacement for the energy. As you know, we have a property that's operating largely from a wind turbine, and there are several things we can do in terms of upgrading to new forms of light bulbs, LED, and a host of things. So while we would like for the cost of energy to go down, and we are hoping that it will, there are several things that the sector that we can do on our own to see an improvement there. Did that answer your question? Okay. With the aid bank? No, it's the low cost financing is available. It's already available to anyone who wants to embark on an investment in solar or wind at a very special rate of interest. Well, we think the prospect of lower energy costs is something that is very, very positive. Yeah. So we, as an association, are fully supportive of the government's initiative. However, it is very important that it is done in a sustainable way, and that there are no negative impacts on the communities, on the environment, and certainly on the tourism sector. Therefore, we do think there is need for further education, further engagement, and certainly transparency, because when you don't understand something well, you fear it, and so we really need to work very hard so that we are fully informed of the plans, and we can work in partnership. Yeah.
You also mentioned some other areas that are listened to, like solid waste, police, vehicles, and that sort of thing. Are you working in collaboration to address some of your concerns in that regard?
Yes, we are. Certainly, we have a list of about 27 key issues, everything ranging from VAT to vagrancy to certification standards to training. And obviously, to get those things done, we need to work very, very closely with the stakeholders and with the relevant authorities. For example, on the issue of vagrancy, it's a complex issue. It needs the involvement of the Ministry of Health, of DASPA, of the police, of the Ministry of Tourism, of the DDA. So it's very, very important that we all work as a team with a strong focus to resolve these things, because it's very, very critical for the sector's future.
You mentioned that there is support of a lot of the initiatives that the government has quite a few others.
VAT.
Service charge, sorry.
Yes.
What else do you identify that government will probably do in the tourism sector? And also, how do you read the importance of the contributions of the private sector?
Absolutely critical. Let me try to focus that on the three big things I think that we as an island have to focus on and have to get right in order to succeed. Yeah, the first one is the destination destination marketing. Okay, we as an island spend about 4 million EC dollars a year on that. Yeah, St. Lucia spends 40 million. Barbados's figure, I think, is 135 million. So it's not fair to compare us in terms of the absolute spend, but if we were to calculate that on a visitor, on a per visitor statistic, we spend about 50 cents on every stay over visitor. St. Lucia spends about $1.20 and Barbados spends about $2.20. Yeah, so we believe that the budget should effectively be increased substantially. But it's not only the need for additional funds, it's also the need to revisit our brand, our marketing strategies, so that we are able to market in a much smarter way. And that's not only the work of the DDA, it's the work of all of the sectors, so that we are all in sync. Yeah. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and it also ties into your point about the private sector. We need to create an environment of incentives to attract a lot more investment, all right, into the island. For example, if a local or foreign investor here wants to develop a sorry, in terms of the taxes, the transfer taxes, the landholding taxes, the stamp duties, it ranges between 10 and 22% here. So if an investor comes here, a significant amount of their investment is going towards paying taxes. If that same investor goes to Barbados, it's 0% tax. If that same investor goes to St. Lucia, it's 0% tax. Once the investment is approved, obviously, right? So it is really critical for us that we create an enabling environment for local and foreign investors to move the industry forward. We have currently about 500 export-ready rooms. You know, St. Lucia has almost 4,000, Barbados has over 6,000. So how do we get from 500 to 1,000, or from 500 to 1,500? It will only be through significant investment, and we have to create an enabling environment for that. So that's the second thing. The third point is air access, and we have made significant strides in terms of air access. The introduction of St. Martin as a hub, and the new services that have started, has been of significant help. We're operating now at a load capacity of about 50 to 60%. So the planes that now actually come to Dominica are not full. So once again, with the marketing and the enabling environment for investment, we need to significantly increase the demand for the destination, and we will see the increased airlift and the increased load factors follow from there. And the other thing I want to make very clear is that tourism is a game that we have to play to win. In other words, every visitor that comes here can go to 50 other places. They don't have to come to Dominica. We are competing aggressively for every visitor that comes here. So we have to play to win. Every investor can go to St. Lucia, Barbados, Antigua, St. Kitts, and they can invest. They don't have to invest here. So we have to play to win. We have to create an enabling environment. Any airline can choose not to service Dominica. They can go elsewhere. So again, we have to do the necessary things to bring the airlift to Dominica. If we focus aggressively on those key three things, we can significantly improve the future of the island, of investment flows, of job creation, and of the industry.
You touched on the area of sea access. For the first overview of the arrival and departure process, recently with the CEO of Express Zero, looking at similar report. What exactly are you proposing? What are some of your major concerns?
The key issue there is, okay, just to put the importance of this in perspective, I think we currently have about 20,000 of our 80,000 stayover arrivals come on the ferry, right? Well, it's actually, I think it's slightly more than, let me just check that figure. It's 22,000. It's about 30% of our stayover arrivals come here on the ferry and come from the French West Indies. So it's very, very significant. We have gotten complaints over and over again that it is almost like it's. I have to be careful the word I use, but it is almost a form of visitor harassment. The way the customs and particularly the immigration process is currently handled, it is very tiring, it's very long, it's very frustrating. Now, these are people, I repeat, that we have to compete for. They can go on the ferry to St. Lucia. They don't have to come here. And we need to find the will and work with each other to streamline the process. And we've been speaking about this just in the past week to DASPA. And there are clear and simple things we can do to improve that. And we're going to be working with them, hopefully, to solve the issues very soon. But, I mean, the key thing, again, is to look at the importance of the industry to the island, look at the importance of the arrivals on the ferry, take into account that we are competing for these people to come here and to spend their hard-earned funds here. Let's make the visitor experience efficient and enjoyable. It's not that difficult to do. That's not something we have evaluated. I don't know if anyone has comments on that, but I mean, no, but it's something we can certainly evaluate. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it's not just to streamline the process, it's for the persons responsible. You know, and I want to be clear, the function of the immigration officers and the customs officers is vital to Dominica's security. They have to do their job and they have to do it well. But yes, I mean, if we understand the importance of the visitors to the island and we work on our service skills, and again, it's something we have to do as a team. So yes.
In terms of the ferry aspect, currently some of the regional leaders have an application for fast ferry service. Do you think this is something the private sector can take on with as to like the government?
Any thoughts?
We definitely support the private sector in providing that type of service to Dominica, as much as we would not discourage the government from enabling the environment for the private sector especially, or for them to begin that service. But I think it's important that we look at the aspect of getting people into Dominica efficiently, effectively, and ensuring that experience is an enjoyable experience. And there is a lag persons wanting to come here and not being able to get here for many reasons.
Yeah, and I'd just like to just to state a statistic. We don't understand exactly why, but while arrivals to Dominica have increased for the 6 months of this year versus last year, there's been almost a 5% increase, which is very encouraging. Ferry arrivals and French West Indies arrivals have decreased, I think, by about 5% as well. So, it does raise concern about the visitor arrival experience and so on. But the importance of the ferry service and the possibility of a faster service in the future would be excellent. Well, DDA certifies rooms. So there are certain certification standards that a property or hotel must comply with. So our understanding is that we have about 500 export-ready rooms, and we have an additional 500 rooms on island too. So we're almost at 1,000, I believe. I could be wrong. Maybe it's about 800 in total, not 1,000. So there are quite a few rooms that are also not considered export ready. So there are a long list of standards that as a hotel you have to comply with, and DDA certifies those standards. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if we have 800 rooms and 500 of them are certified and 300 are not, then yes. Ari, you want to go
Let me jump in. And what we would like to see is more so synchronized energies when we speak about marketing. Right now, the private sector is not in constant dialogue. For example, with the Discover Dominica Authority, who does the major amounts of the most marketing for the island. So what we need to do is we need to hold hands with each other and with the Discover Dominica Authority to increase our marketing dollars. As well, our properties don't dialogue enough with one another. Because it could be, for example, properties could come together and do co-op advertising, which increases marketing dollar space or ad space and decreases the cost per property. And that can also be done with Discover Dominica. So we're more looking at synchronized energies and as much we're looking forward to increase marketing dollars for the Discover Dominica Authority.
Specific to marketing as a whole, yeah, we believe that the branding of the island needs to be looked at. Okay, we have an amazing amount of special attractions for tourists. Dominica is green, but it's not a boring experience. It's an extremely exciting and adventurous experience. People think we don't have beaches here, or nice beaches, which is not true. So, I mean, it begins with redefining the unique selling points that we as a destination has, and starting with the brand, and then the strategies from there. And on the details of whether we should be doing less of the advertising in certain things, and whether we should be focused more on the east coast of the U.S. as opposed to the west coast, or where where we should be focusing. I mean, we all have our thoughts on that, but what we'd like to achieve is that the DHTA, working very closely with the DDA, that we relook at our brand, and from there we look at all of the marketing strategies, and we come up with the most effective way to increase the demand for the destination. Because as you also know, everything has changed. Through the internet, people are able to go online, and within a second they look at a property in St. Lucia, they look at a property here, and they decide to go here or they decide to go there. And so the effectiveness of the brand is very, very critical.
I think we could just go back again to the expert reviews, just details for free purposes. Can you be a bit more specific in terms of what are some of the requirements?
Although I'm involved with 2 hotels and those 2 hotels are certified, I'm not familiar with the details. Are you, Ari? You can give a few examples?
I can just give you a few examples. The certification process involves being up to standard as it relates to the fire department, as it relates to the health department, and so forth. So, for example, for I believe it's every 3 to 5 rooms, and depending on the layout of the property, fire extinguishers need to be visible. Smoke detectors need to be in every room. As it relates to health, so the Department of Health, white sheets and towels need to be a standard, and so forth.
Every room has to have certain things, like a mirror and this and that. It's a lot of details. Sorry? Some of them, some don't.
Yeah,
but it's more than that.
Yeah.
You also have things like the source of the water must be from the Wasco. The Wasco is our sorry. And we have some properties that are able to, or are not able to get their water from the mains, so they get it from a spring. And that is an area we think the certification has to be looked at, because we are the nature island. If there's a way to certify that the quality of the water is suitable, then it really shouldn't matter where the water comes from. So there are a host of those things, and one of our goals is actually to understand from the properties that are not certified what's holding up the certification, and anything that's not practical, we work with DDA to have the certification and Standards Act amended accordingly.
Have you been getting complaints, or just?
No, there have been some complaints. There have been that there's some things that are not reasonable and that should be looked at, and we will fully support, that initiative.
Do you find that more
Sorry?
Do you find that more as well as the association representing?
I'm not understanding the question.
The fact of the matter is that due to the nature of some of the properties in Dominica, they will never be able to meet the type of standards that are expressed in the Discover Dominica Authority standard sheet, basically. For instance, you have properties which are located in the middle of the jungle, and they will never have any connection to pipe-borne water, which is what Mr. Nasser was trying to explain. For some of them, it is not practical to use white sheets and white bathroom, because they may be located in a Sulphur Springs area where the towels will be rolling in a matter of a week. So, whilst it is a shared concern on the part of the DDA and the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association that all properties must meet the standards. The standards themselves must be reasonable for all the properties included. And we cannot use one blank sheet for everyone.
Mr. Nancy, on the short frequency, going back, it has been a long standing. Does the DHTA have any new realistic ideas, like how is that people can implement that to remedy the situation once we've gone?
Well, I would rather not say that we do or what we're thinking, because we've just started this. This is a new board, And it is an issue of focus. We've met with about 40 stakeholders in the last 3 weeks, and that is an issue for hoteliers, it's an issue for tour operators, an issue for taxi drivers, an issue for tour guides, so it's across the industry. So we're really trying to find our way in terms of what has been proposed and see how we can help push it forward. And obviously we will also want to find a long-term and a humane solution to the issue.
Other mention was made of maximizing our friendly nature. Do you know
Our friendly
nature? You all have any ideas how that
speaking about the people of Dominica, yeah, anyone want to?
One of the critical points in the sector that must be looked at is the matter of human resource development and training. Whilst Dominicans are known across the world for their warmth and hospitality, it must be said that even within the industry here, that the quality of service that is provided by these warm, friendly people leaves a lot to be desired. So, on that note, I believe the DHTA would like to see something of an academy developed on the island which can provide opportunities for training and development of the human resource which will lead to the development of the industry.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw a twist on that, right? I believe the onus is on the industry. I believe the onus is on us. I believe employees have to be put first in an organization and they need to be invested in. I think very often we expect a level of service from staff, but we are not prepared to do the necessary work with them, the coaching work, the training work over time to achieve that. So while there's a great need for skills certification and these things, I think there's a lot we can do ourselves to improve that situation as well. And I have to say from my experience that our employees are fantastic, and you have to work with them and invest and so on. And so the people, I think our people are one of, I'll say that when I speak to visitors, the two things that they say that they enjoyed most about our island are the people, and surprisingly is our food, our local, organic, fresh produce. Of course, in addition to everything we offer, the waterfalls, the diving, these are kind of two things they didn't expect that they take away with them, which is really great.
How do you practice that psychology and what are the solutions you take in the
Can I take that, Ari?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. That is a bit of a complex issue that I'd really like everyone to understand, and I'd like to maybe just explain it a bit. So the sector has 5 issues with VAT, and I'd like as much as possible for us all to be in sync on what those issues are. The first is service charge, where service charge is an additional percentage, 10% charge to a customer's bill, which is collected by the hotel and distributed to employees. So it's effectively employee income. PAYE and Social Security are deducted from service charge paid to employees. So it is employee income. However, VAT has insisted that VAT should be applied to service charge. We were very pleased to hear the news that VAT is being repealed. It's official that as of September 1st, VAT will no longer be applied to service charge. Okay. The second issue are staff meals. Due to the nature of the hotel and the restaurant business, where staff work late hours, their schedules shift, you're doing a function, you're doing various things, you work very late. It's very much in the interest of the business operation and in the interest of staff that the hotels and the restaurants provide meals to their staff. This is very often done at no cost. VAT has an issue with this, and they are saying that even though meals are provided at no cost, the value of the meal should be assessed and VATable. Now, this is a very serious issue. Both service charge and staff meals have a direct impact on staff, on workers. Okay, so you have some hotels who are investing in their staff, who are providing meals to their staff free of charge based on the high demands of the hotel industry and the restaurant industry. And on top of that, there's a tax that apparently we have to pay. Right? The third thing is complimentary rooms. Very often a hotel or the DDA will request a hotel to host a journalist or a tour operator or a travel agent. Complimentary rooms are rooms provided to these travel trade professionals at no cost. So it is in our interest, it's in Dominica's interest to host these persons at no charge so they understand the properties, they understand the island, and they can go back overseas and write about how great the experience was, right? VAT is taking a position that the market value of, even though there was no charge, the market value of those rooms must be assessed and VAT must be applied. Okay? So these are the three peculiarities of the hospitality business where hoteliers and restaurateurs and stakeholders have not been complying. I would say more than 50% of the industry has been in non-compliance since 2006 when VAT was implemented. Okay? So those are three key issues. Now the fourth huge issue, and which puts several businesses in serious financial risk, is that the VAT unit is going back. So audits are being done on previous years, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and they're insisting that on service charge, on meals, on complimentary rooms, where no VAT has been collected, that these hotels must now come up with that money and pay VAT with interest and also penalties. So you can imagine the potential financial exposure of a property over the period of 8 years. It is very, very significant. So we are very hopeful in our discussions with the authorities that VAT can be repealed not only on service charge, but also on staff meals provided at no cost and on complimentary rooms provided to the travel trade professionals. And we're also working very closely with the authorities to try to achieve a halt in audits going back on these three issues. And let's agree how we need to go forward. But to insist for properties in a vulnerable sector to come up with the cash to pay VAT that was never collected at this stage with interest and so on is it puts us in an extraordinarily vulnerable state. Okay, so those are the four things. The fifth thing is just the general VAT rate. Our VAT rate here is 10% on rooms and 15% on everything else. In Barbados, it's 7.5% across the board. In St. Lucia, it's 10% across the board. We would like, as an industry, to get to 7.5%. And again, it has to be done in the context of all of us believing that tourism represents Dominica's future in terms of being able to carry our economy for the next 10 or 15 years. The sector needs support. We need to be competitive. So if someone is searching to stay at a hotel in Barbados versus here, just the taxes make the cost of our room a lot more expensive. So this is something that's, we also have to recognize that the country runs on VAT. So the money that the authorities take in VAT is what allows the country to do many things, to build roads, to build bridges, hospitals, education, everything. But at the same time, we would like to work with the authorities so that within 1 year or 2 years we can begin to see a harmonization. So instead of the 10 and the 15, one rate across the board and a lowered rate to assist us with competitiveness going forward.
Mention was made about the current and future investors and face the highest barriers. Can you expand on that, please?
Yeah, as I mentioned, when you're investing if you're an investor without a personal connection to your country, like me, I want to invest here, as an example. But if you're an investor and you are looking around for the best place to invest, you're going to look where your money goes furthest in terms of the investment. So as I had stated, in Barbados or St. Lucia, as an example, you pay 0% tax on acquisition of land or acquisition of a business. Let's say there is a hotel here that's bankrupt and for sale, and we have a new investor, local or foreign, that wants to buy that property and develop it, right? Our taxes are very high. When you add transfer taxes, stamp duty, alien landholding fees, and depending on if you're local or foreign, it can go from 10 plus to 20 plus % versus 0% in other islands. So we are very pleased that the Prime Minister announced in the budget a complete modernization of the fiscal incentives regime, right? This was mentioned in the budget of 2013. It was just mentioned again in the budget of 2014. And for the DHTA, nothing can stimulate new investment in Dominica as much as getting that fixed. We have significant barriers to entry, and it's not just the cost of the taxes, but it's also the opportunities for new forms of investment. Okay, villas and also timeshare and things like that, which other islands have been significantly advanced in. Dominica has not even started in that because the fiscal framework and incentives are not what they should be. The DHTA or the DDA? No, we were saying the DDA needs additional resources for marketing. DHTA needs additional resources too because we want to strengthen our staffing and so on, and we have to work with on our members and potential sponsors.
I also feel that the budget needs to be
For the DDA. For the DDA, yeah. You want a number? Well, if St. Lucia is spending $1.20 per stay-over visitor, and Barbados is spending $2.20 per stay-over visitor, and we're spending 50 cents, I would like to get to $1. So the DHTA would like to see the 4 million destination marketing budget as a start double to 8 million. But as we have, and if we do that, we'll, instead of spending 50 cents per stay-over visitor, we'll be spending $1 per stay-over visitor. But you can't just throw funds at the problem. As we've been explaining, we need to also rethink how we're marketing. And the DHTA completely supports initiatives of the DDA and working in sync with everyone to rethink and improve our marketing capabilities and strategies. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, I have a question for you. This is very unorthodox. Yeah? No, seriously. Since you all asked us about 15 questions, can I ask you all one question? Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right. Do you believe that tourism is the future for Dominica's economy? The question is really what sector? It's not obviously not the only sector. There's agriculture, there's manufacturing, there's everything. There's commerce, there's import distribution, there's retail, there's everything. But do you agree that tourism, more than any other sector, has the potential to carry Dominica's economy forward for the next 15 to 30 years, more than any other sector, if we get it right? Can I start here? You don't answer questions. Sorry? Not too sure. I asked if I could ask one question. You don't have to film this, you can whatever. I'm asking a question.
You think so?
I think if we
my personal opinion, I think one of the most strongest points when it comes to tourism is just being experience of being someone new, especially focusing on community-based tourism. Aspect. I don't think tourists right now are too much into the beach scene and things like that. They want something new.
Something different.
So the aspect of going to a village and experiencing something because every village in Dominica has something to offer.
Sure.
If it's not, going on a hike with some of the local people there, eating something from a bar, just be more vibe of meeting different people and focus some more energy to train some of the local people into, being hospitable and understanding of the tourism.
Okay.
I think actually
Great potential. So that sounds like a yes.
Yes.
Okay. Same opinion? Okay. As a tourism major? If we spend more time marketing, ecotourism. Thanks. That's another yes. No comment.
Yeah, I think tourism holds great potential for this country. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot of time, we have resources, in terms of human resources.
Yeah.
We train our young people, get people interested in the sector itself for sustainable development. We can.
Okay.
Tourism has great potential.
Great. Young lady? Has the potential.
Well, I quite agree, but I think it should be a collaborative effort in all the sectors. Collaborate together in that aspect.
Okay. Okay. The reason... Yes,
I think it does have to be more talk than talk.
it has to be what?
More talk than talk.
More talk than talk. More action. Yeah. But you think tourism has the potential to drive the economy? Yeah. Okay. Okay. The gentleman is avoiding me. No comment. Okay. Sorry?
Frankly, sometimes when you travel, you get the impression
Yeah.
that locally, nothing is being done.
No, the question is an important one, and your thinking on it is important because we strongly believe that it is the only thing we can compete globally with. We don't think we can compete I mean, we can compete to some extent in niche markets with agriculture, with IT, with manufacturing, but globally, being globally competitive and attracting millions of customers, it's really tourism. And unless we all begin to see it that way, the industry won't move forward as it should. And you as the press have a very significant responsibility, if I may say so, in thinking about that question and thinking about what can propel Dominica's future. You all put us on the spot for the last 45 minutes. Quid pro quo.
So we'd like to thank all of you for being here today and allowing the DHTA to give voice to our association. And it's important that we leave here with this type of positivity that you have expressed, because this is how we feel about our industry. But as we just spoke about it, it's not just ours. This is Dominica. This is Dominica's future. This is what's going to put us on the map and bring focus and energy and money into the island. So again, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.